Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Morning Gardener Show. Just came out of the garden, and in about another hour, I'm going to put up a video about my power tea. Oh, and by the way, just in case you don't, this is the Morning Gardener Show. Um, what's going on here is the tea I'm making. I refined it a great deal. I added M1 to the tea for my garden, and oh, thank you for the thumbs up. Appreciate it. And I also added an additional amount of cow manure to the tea, and also the what we call a decompost that's been added to the tea. Um, so this tea, let me just say this to you: everything that I'm putting it on, I'm watching it grow bigger. Uh, Not necessarily faster, but bigger. If that makes sense to you. Um, I have found plants in the yard, especially this video is going to be put up in about an hour. It's going to show you um, the size of the produce that's being produced with this tea. And the great thing about this tea is that it's absolutely free. Um, I mean, it depends on if you have your own cow manure, but only thing you're adding to it that you might have to purchase is cow manure, and that's like black cow. I use black cow. You could use something else, um, but the whole thing of it is that I'm using I'm creating about 32 gallons, excuse me, about 32 gallons at a time. And those 32 gallons of liquid is a dark brown, rich liquid. Um, and you let it sit for about 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, you can actually start using it. But I think the older it is, the better it actually works. So that's where we are right now. This liquid, I call it, oh, it's like liquid gold. You put it on a plant, and you see the tomatoes get larger. If you check those tomatoes in another 2 or 3 days, you'll see the tomatoes actually got larger. And I've been giving out some of my vegetables, and people have told me that these are the sweetest tomatoes I've grown so far. So that tells me something, is that the plants are getting the proper nutrition, which means that they produce the sugars that they need to produce. And that's also a plus. I mean, I really love it. So I want all of you to jump on board and start using fertilizers that not only that work better, but that you can afford them. And I think everyone can afford fertilizer that's free. You know, I had a neighbor across the street. I gave him a tomato plant. It was maybe 8 inches tall when I gave it to him, and now it's about 4 feet tall. Um, I came over and looked at the plant, and he said, "Listen, it's not doing too good." And I said, "Well, let me take a look at the plant." I went over, and when I looked at the plant, I've been doing this a lot of years, about 18 years. And when I looked at the plant was turning yellow. And so when I saw that, I knew immediately what was going on. I said, this plant is in a container. I asked him a few questions. He said he's feeding it once a week, but I don't know what he's feeding it. I don't know how much he's feeding it. And I said, this plant is starving. So I made my way to my brew of power tea. I got a gallon of it in a jug. And by the way, you're going to have to wear rubber gloves when you handle this tea. I've tried it in the past using the tea and not wearing gloves, and it's murder on your skin. Talk about itching, and you can wash it all you want, but it won't stop itching until hours and hours, maybe a day later. At any rate, I use rubber gloves, come up to about the wrist here when I fill up my jugs. At any rate, you could use a hose sprayer, you could use a jug, you could use whatever kind of sprayer you want. The tea is incredible. You could spray it on plants. You could pour it at the base. I've been pouring it on top of the plants, and I've also been pouring it at the base of the plants. The tea is absolutely incredible. And I'm not putting this out there to sell you anything. Not at all. I'm just putting it out there because I want to see more videos of people growing big, bold plants. And that's what I want to see. I want to see people with cucumbers that they can't even believe that those cucumbers are that big. Um, so I'm doing right now is very successful. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Um, and the tea is just blowing my mind. Oh, wait a minute. I did mention that I added M1 to the tea. M1, which is, is a beautiful collection of microorganisms that you can make right at home and it's free to make. Doesn't cost really nothing at all. So I want you to try that as well. And there's plenty of videos out there. Just look up how to make EM1. How to make EM1. Ton of videos out there. Some people show you the hard way to do it. It's actually so easy to make this EM1, but when you go online and try to buy it, you can get 16 to 18 ounces of it, and it'll be about like $28. So, hey, how you doing? Uh, Thank you very much. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Let's see. Do you like roses? Do I like roses? They're okay. I have a few on my property. The only reason I use these roses is just to attract pollinators, and that's it. I've talked to people that seeing very few bees on their property. I'm noticing that. Talked to some of the neighbors. I've sent a message out online if anyone's seeing any bees on their property, actual, honeybees. This year, all the bees I've seen, I can count on one hand, and that's it, one hand. But they're out there and they're in the grasses feeding. Um, I sometimes even take the lawnmower and go around them. I don't like running over them with the lawnmower because bees are we're going to need them and they're in trouble. And thank goodness to the beekeepers that are trying to that hang in there. Hello, how you doing? How's everything been growing on your property? I know you've been doing well. I've seen some of your videos, and I've looked at them, and you're always trying to help people out. So that's always a plus. My brother, always good to hear from you. The thing about it is, uh, we got to start going towards things that we naturally have on our property that can help our plants grow. Weeds are so strong because they grow deep tap roots in the ground. They pull up all these minerals, and these minerals that are in the stalk, the leaves, and the blossoms of this weed. You simply take the weed and you put it in. I use rainwater. You can use water from your tap. I choose not to because I have access to rainwater, and as much as it's rained this year, I have my water drums full, and I got also my tea barrel is 32 gallons of tea. It's been very wet here as well. My brother, it's been wet here. It's been wet, and last night rained so hard when I was getting ready to leave work. I didn't want to drive in it, but and when it stopped, I just headed home. The rain is making the weeds grow in my yard incredibly, and I used to look at weeds as a problem, as a bother. Now I don't. I know better now, so I know that you take some grass, you take some comfrey. It don't have to be comfrey. Just pick a weed in your yard and try to use most of that. And I use a little bit of grass. I actually mix it because I say grass, a little bit of nitrogen. I do another one like the comfrey in my yard. I put that in the barrel. I leave it there for 3 weeks. And once I see the weeds doing good, uh, excuse me, once I see them decaying, then I start using it. And by that time, it's a dark green liquid. Then it turns from green, the liquid turns to a dark brown. And I think that's when it's the best. But you can use it in the green state. I've done that. I put it on plants and watched plants just take off. And when that happened, you'll ask yourself, all these years I've been buying store-bought fertilizer. I'll never do it again. That's how you feel. And you can actually save a whole lot of money by doing or using this method. So that's what I like about it as well. And you're getting a better product. Think about it. You go to where I go to Lowe's. They got bag of compost. Excuse me. They got a bag of fertilizer. It's organic, and it's about $11 a bag. On the size property I have, I can use that bag up in no time. Probably about a week, I can use that bag up. So you do this And if you're doing correctly, and making sure your plants eat well, make sure they get proper water, make sure that you're out there. And another thing, if you're pruning these plants, any yellowing leaves, you take those off. You take off leaves that are damaged. You take off leaves that are that mold might be on them, anything like that, and you will stimulate that plant into growing faster. Um, Make certain also that you are picking peppers off as soon as they're ready. You're picking squash off as soon as they're ready because plants don't grow more fruit when it's already full of fruit. It just doesn't, it's not set up to do that. If you keep taking it off, it signals the plant to produce more. I'm not an expert on this, but I've seen it time and time again work on my property. I've taken plants that were full of peppers and I've taken them all off and it's produced more. But if I leave peppers on a plant or tomatoes on a plant or squash on a plant, it will stop producing. It'll just leave those on there and just grow them bigger and just, it'll just leave them there. Oh, okay, somebody bought a 20-pound bag of organic fertilizer for 5 years, for five, it looked like $5 a head for last year. I don't know where this gentleman got it or person got it at, but I would like to talk to them. That's a good deal if it's a good fertilizer. Now, another thing is that the fish stores that you go to, when you go to the fish stores, if you can take a heavy enough plastic bag there and say, "Hey, sir, what are you gonna do with about those fish guts and fish heads that you are taking out of these fish?" He said, "Oh, we throw it away." You get a bag of that. You get a big bag of that. Dig a hole at least about 10 to 12 inches deep. Put the fish heads down in the guts and all. Cover it up. Set the plant on top, and then and firm the plant in and water it. And I'm gonna tell you something about it. That will make that plant jump out of the ground, and that's how that works. That's how that works. Let's see. Conversation here. Anyone at all are seeing bees on their property? Are you getting bees? Are you seeing bees? Well, I see what you're saying about critters going on your property and digging up things, and that's something to be concerned about. But I have done that. I put fish in the ground and didn't have an issue with it. But I guess it depends on on your location as well. But fish is a free resource. It's a great fertilizer, and plants love it because it's just loaded with what they need because of fish coming from the ocean or the sea, and they load up on all different types of minerals and they do quite well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta go to work. It's been real fun talking to each and every one of you. Going to look forward to hearing from you again real soon. This is the Morning Gardener. Thank you very much for tuning in.